flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilman Hutchins, please.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity we have to be here tonight. We just ask that you'll just give us wisdom as we discuss and decide on business. Be with our armed forces everywhere today, Lord. And I just ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis. Present. Hutchins.
Present.
Candia.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Caden.
Present. And I'd like to report there was no reportable action out of our closed session meeting this evening. I go to item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. I don't think we have any. Item 6, ceremonial matters. And we don't have any of those either. Item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now would be time to do it. Seeing none, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions set by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the September 23rd, 2014 meeting. Council direction?
Make a motion, we accept the consent calendar as is.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item 9, public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2014, next in number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4. Chief.
Union Mayor, council members, before you tonight is another weed abatement. This abatement notice for property maintenance were sent to several properties with accordance with ordinance 95-4, chapter 2, title 8-2-3. This notice informs property owners of their right to a hearing, which would be tonight. Before you, we have one property. It is 722, oh, I didn't write it down.
720.
720 Mount Stakes, and we have a couple pictures for you tonight. We have the weeds in the truck in the driveway. So there's no fiscal impact, and I'll bring it back to you for consideration of this matter.
Any questions or comments for the chief?
Has any contact been made with them, Chief?
I believe the 3 letters were sent out, and I don't think they've responded.
They didn't respond at all? Okay. Well, I assume somebody's still living through it.
It appears so, yes.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none, I'll close public hearing, bring it back to council for direction.
I move we adopt resolution number 2014, next in number, declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Item B, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2014, next to number, amending Title III, Business Regulations, Chapter 3.03, Peddlers and Solicitors of the City of Newman, City Code, and authorize staff to publish a summary of said ordinance. Hi, Steph.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is a second reading of the proposed ordinance amending Chapter 3.03. This amendment was initiated in June of this year when Solar City requested an exemption from the door-to-door prohibition that's currently in the municipal code. That has been in place since the 1930s. A number of revision options have been brought to the council for review, and based on case law and legal recommendation, the City Council on September 23rd directed staff to draft revisions that established time standards, prohibited Sunday solicitation, lost my place, and create a do not disturb registry. Additional revisions include language updates and references to other portions of the municipal code. The proposed ordinance before you includes all of the aforementioned revisions. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council hold the public hearing, conduct the second reading, and adopt ordinance number 2014 next in number. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Stephanie? Seeing none, I'll bring it to council. I'll go to open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none, close public hearing, bring it back to council for direction.
Just one quick question, and maybe I just missed it in here.
Okay.
Was there anything in here that says that they have to have identification if they, of any type, when they go door to door?
The badge requirement was removed based on legal counsel recommendation.
So they can go to a senior's door and don't have to provide any identification or anything?
I believe under the current structure, they still have, they're still going to be registered, but it's that additional requirement to make them carry it with them that has been deemed unconstitutional. So they can still be asked by the homeowner, but it's the city requiring an additional burden on them that had to be pulled out.
There would be nothing to
So-
preclude the resident from asking for some form of ID.
Right.
You know.
If you're 90
Yeah.
years old, are you going to
Yeah.
think to
And
ask that question?
I had the same question and same concern. However, the law says we can't do it.
And the only reason I bring that up is because my 92-year-old grandmother, not grandmother, mother, I wish I was that young. She ended up doing that because they represented that they were from a local utility, and they really weren't. They were a third-party vendor. She didn't know any better. She ended up signing up for it. And we have a lot of those that live by themselves, and there's got to be some way or something we can do because I understand maybe we can't, because they could put 15 people on the street, right? They could be the employer, never set foot in this city and put 15 people on the street that nobody knows, operating under their business license, and do pretty much whatever they want.
Councilmember, I think one of the best avenues that we found in trying to be consistent with law is the do not knock registry, and trying to get as many of our seniors to sign up for that as possible if they're nervous about that type of
And hopefully we can send that
solicitation.
notice out like with the water bills, to encourage our residents to, come in, pick up, and/or if we need to, we'll send them the register and the sign, do not knock on my door, however we're going to word it, But I would, I hopefully be able, that our staff be able to get those notices out to our residents and give them that option, make sure they put it in their door. The so-called peddlers will also be required to carry that list with them. So if they go, for instance, to your mother's door and her address is on that register, if they knock on it and she calls and says, these people are knocking on my door, hopefully our law enforcement people will be able to track them down and kick them out of town. That even rhymes. Track them down and kick them out of town.
I like that. But now then, I notice in a background investigation, it's just for the applicant, it's not for their employees?
That was another
Yes.
case of additional burden, I believe.
Right, and it has to be as to the company, and if there's a showing that the city can issue the license to the company requiring, it's been determined to be an invasive privacy right issue, requiring every single person to get licensed by the city. So if the company's licensed and the city issues the license to the company, that has been held constitutionally sufficient. More than that is now placing a burden on speech, which is what creates the problem and cannot be part of the ordinance.
So they can then hire sexual predators to go door to door?
Well, no, they can't, because what ideally will happen is if there's any reports of that, their license will get revoked. But the initial burden is on the city to determine that this company is going to comply with the laws and then issue the license. Unfortunately, there's situations like that the city can't account for every single time, but this at least places enough of a burden on the company to provide the requisite information to the city, at least from the onset. And
But we're not licensing the company, we're licensing the applicant.
right.
There's a big difference between the applicant and the company.
It will, well, it will.
No, the applicant can be an individual. Doesn't have to be a company.
Right. But that is something that staff will consider when they receive the application, who is actually applying for it.
We will be asking also if they're planning on doing door-to-door solicitation, and that would trigger them being told that they have to have the registry with them and be notified of the rules.
And Stephanie, actually though, when the person applies for the license, it's not necessarily going to be issued that same day anyway.
It's not. It has to go through the proper vetting process through
Right.
fire, building,
Right.
public safety, planning.
So it's still going to take a little bit of time and for them to get that permit.
Yes, and if they have
again,
any...
hopefully our staff can vet out, some of the issues.
Yes, and we require that they submit proof of their state licensing if there's any specific requirements. It just depends on the type of business.
Right. Trust me, Don, I wasn't totally comfortable, but I think that's the other side of me coming out. And
That's
because,
the cop side of me coming out, exactly what it is.
because I have the concerns for our seniors and, but with the law being what it is, we're trying, we obviously have to stay within the confines of the law. And my hope is that we won't have any issues. However, I stressed with Lieutenant Short, who was at our last meeting, that the PD be very proactive when these concerns come to the forefront. And, for lack of better terms, not blow off a call when somebody does call in and complain, that we go out and actually find them and boot them if that's what needs to be done.
Well, I think both, and that's my concern, both you and I know we've dealt with it
Yeah.
over the years and ended up dealing with it. I have no problem with people with a good license. I just would like to see Michael, staff, come up with a very strong education program toward our seniors to let them know about the no-knock, other than just putting it in the paper or sticking it in a water bill, which most people don't read. They just pay the bill, especially seniors. Some type of education program to protect them.
No problem, Councilman. We'll start with the water bills, but, we'll use SEPA, we'll use other programs that we do with our local seniors to continue to just, throughout the year, just keep getting it out there in front of them that this is available to you, this is available to you, don't be a bit.
And I think we can reach out and go, the chief was at the Senior Awareness Day with me, and we can also attend one of those meetings and, take a whole stack of those notices and do not knock things and give them to them. And they're going to be our best avenue of getting the word out as well, because they'll talk to one another. So, yeah, but I'm sure staff will take those steps. And again, I think we all have that same concern is, I don't want our seniors to be bothered and don't want anybody to be ripped off, and I don't want to be bothered, so. Okay? All right. So, got your answer. So now we need council direction.
I so move for the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2014, next number, amending Title III Business Regulations, Chapter 3.03, Peddlers and Solicitors of the Newman City Code, and authorize staff to publish a summary of said ordinance.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to regular business, item 10. Adopt resolution 2014, next in number, a resolution revising the adopted building permit fee schedule. Stephanie?
Good evening again. Resolution 2014, next to number, will revise the currently adopted fee schedule in order to correct some minor typographical errors. The current fee schedule was adopted via Resolution 2014-4, which inadvertently listed an incorrect fee amount for the industrial warehouse category for sized buildings 40 to 50,000 square feet. It left off the fee for the same category buildings for over 50,000 square feet and left off the covered patio fee distinction for one-story, single-family, and duplex dwellings. All of the other fees would remain as adopted. A resolution is required to correct the adopted fee schedule. Therefore, in the interest of providing accurate fees to the public, staff recommends that the council adopt Resolution 2014, next to number, revising the adopted building permit fee schedule. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for Stephanie? Seeing none, council direction.
I'll make a motion. We adopt resolution number 2014, next number, a resolution revising the adopted the adopted building permit fee schedule.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item B, adopt resolution 2014, next in number, a resolution approving an agreement with Tesco Controls Incorporated to provide professional services for the water and sewer Scada Systems Improvement Project, and authorize city manager to execute said agreement and associated documents. Consent.
Good evening, City Mayor and council members. I would like to talk about the Scada system, what the systems are, and the scope of the project, as well as the benefit. And then I would like to explain why we need this system in terms of future O&M cost reduction, as well as efficiency. So there's the presentation here. The Scada here means that the supervisory control and data acquisitions. And this SCADA system includes the PLC, which is called Programmable Logic Control. So I'm going to explain some more details in the next slide. So we are going to add one master supervisory controller, plus we are going to improve multiple subcontrollers. So this is the SCADA system the city has. For here, the water tower, there is a master PLC, which include the workstations. So I want to say that this is kind of brain of the system. So this workstation control all the PLC subsystem here. City has 4 water pump station in town, and also city has 7 sewer lift stations. So this diagram shows that any problem happens in water system or the sewer system, the brain, the master PLC is supposed to get the signal, the warning signals from each PLC, and send the alarm to our staff so that we can respond to the problem in a timely manner. For example, sometimes the Christmas season or holiday season, sometimes it happens. The sewer level in the pump station sometimes hit the level, the ground level, is called overflow. But before reach to the level, the PLC sends a signal to our staff, and then we respond to the site and they fix the problem without any big major issue later. That's why the SCADA system is key for infrastructure for every single municipality. The proposed SCADA system improvement project has several major improvements as shown here. Currently, the city has 2 licenses for the PLC, the SCADA system, but the city proposing to combine 2 systems to 1. So I'm going to explain the benefit of one integration later a little more. The new computer hardwares and software will be included in this project. And also, this project includes the backup system. For example, if we lose some data suddenly for the sewer system, we don't have any backup data. Sometimes we are losing entire data. What happened in the past or what's going on currently, that's the problem we have right now. And also this project includes a replacement of existing radio transceivers, which increase the efficiency of the communication between the master PLC and the sub-PLCs. And we are going to assess all lift station and realigning the antennas to maintain optimum signal strength. So this is the main benefit with this project. The future software, hardware cost saving by combining the 2 SCADA systems is very significant. And also, this project includes a free software upgrade in the future. And alarming, trending, and reporting system will be done automatically. For example, on a regular basis, staff receiving some alarm or reporting, everything will be done through the master PLC, the software, automatically. And easily expandable. For example, if we have a new major subdivision project it requires lift station for sewer or water system, as well as like a detention basin with a pump station. So in that case, it's easy to add, additional PLC to control the entire system. And also increase efficiency. That reduce on-call works dramatically. So I'm going to explain that issue a little further later. And also increase reliability as well as safety and security. Since the city added the sewer pump station SCADA system with the lowest responsible bidder in 2010, the city has experienced several major O&M issues with the SCADA system. It's a Telstar systems. In 2010 April, the city approved Telstar as the lowest responsible bidder. However, when the warranty was expired, the city staff started seeing a lot of problem. For example, sometimes the entire SCADA system for the sewer just freeze without any problems. So whenever we contact the company, they charge like $1,700 just for checking the system. And also, there is additional cost kind of follows sometimes because they want to improve the system, but sometimes they charge a lot, too much. So it's kind of repeating issue so far. One of the reasons we went to the lowest bidder is that the purchasing system at the time in the ordinance is just, there's no additional option, the exception. For example, no matter what the bidding, the lowest bid is more than $20,000, we must take the bidding process at the time. So we ended up with 2 licenses. For example, the water system, the SCADA, still already have a TASCO Control Inc. However, the sewer system 2010, we installed that we ended up with Telstar. That means we have 2 brain. So it creates some kind of an issue, as well as the company provides really low quality of software. We try to resolve the issue many times, but still we are seeing the same issue again and again. So one of the reasons we proposed the TASCO system is that the TASCO Controls Inc. have a really good the history on very successful maintenance as well as the programming, the upgrade. I think the TASCO system in-house, they design and make all the system and support any issue. For example, any problem happen during the holiday, they support 24/7, 365 days support without any delay. So for example, any issue happen, they access through the internet. They don't send the crew to the site, which costs a lot, but however, they control everything through the internet. So with the new SCADA system, they control those problem, and also city staff can access to the issue through the iPad or any online device, internet device. So we can control and monitor and maintain the system very efficiently. That reduced our O&M cost for our infrastructure significantly in the future. As such, it's recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution number 2014, the next number, approving an agreement with the TASCO Control Inc. to provide professional services for the water and sewer SCADA system. So happy to answer to any questions. So we have 2 TASCO staff here. Maybe Chris Abrams, you can answer to any question council has.
Right, yeah. My name's Chris Abrams.
Could you come to the yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Abrams. I've been with Tesco for about 9 years. This gentleman over here is Keith Webb. He's been with Tesco for about 20 years, implementing these SCADA systems that we're talking about tonight. And basically, just like Kusan said, is right now you have 2 SCADA systems. You have one on your water side, one on your wastewater side. What we're proposing is to combine or merge those 2 systems into one. That way, right now, you're paying for 2 different software licenses for the systems you have. By merging the 2 systems into one, you'll only have 1 license to pay for, and there's reoccurring costs to these SCADA systems as far as licensing and comprehensive support. So, by doing this project, we'll be merging those two systems. We'll be upgrading some PLC controllers on the water pump stations. And like Kusan said, we'll be realigning some antennas, helping the communications, so you won't have those things like spills or not getting alarms. So, this is, if there's any questions, we can answer it. But basically, in a nutshell, that's what we're looking at.
Any questions or comments for either gentleman?
Just the time and material service rates, are those also included in the warranty year, or does that start right off the get-go?
That starts right off the get-go.
Well, the warranty, the warranty will cover you for the warranty period. So in other words, there is no cost incurred during the warranty period for you.
Well, because I was looking at like factory repairs, standard rate $105. Well, if it's factory repair, that means there's a problem.
Right.
And if it happens within the first year, would we have to pay that $105?
No, Keith's right. The warranty covers you for 1 year, or actually it's 18 months. And then after that, that's when those rates will kick in.
Okay.
Question, Nick?
And the actual PLC, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Councilman Hutchins, the actual PLC itself, the brain has a 5-year warranty.
That's correct.
On
The PLC, the
defecting its
programmable logic
workmanship
controller
and-
does have a 5-year warranty.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is the technology that's controlling your water system as well as your sewage collection system for the city. And I've worked with the system itself for over 20 years. When Garza was here before, and I originally put it in. And due to the lowest responsible bidder rules, another company came in, a much smaller company, Tesco, we're located up in Sacramento. This is this other company, much smaller, came in, did it for less than we can do it for. And the problem is, the city can't get service out of them now. So we're trying to find a better way to take care of you.
So right now, we've got two separate brains running, one running sewer, one running water, and this is going to combine the two of them, basically, is what we're talking about here.
Correct, and
Yes.
upgrade them.
The same PLC doing both.
Yes, correct.
Nick?
What's our overall cost now, Kasim?
I'm sorry?
What's our cost now on this, on the two systems?
2010, April the 12th, city approved the sewer PLC, the SCADA system. That was $83,671. But now we are combining two systems to one, and also we are improving the water system, not just the sewer. We combine that's $150,000 with warranties.
No. All right.
He wants to know what's our annual.
What's our annual cost?
What's our annual
On both
licensing
systems
fee?
right now, licensing
Any
and
idea?
everything.
The license fee already included in here.
No,
So
current.
that-
Current.
But the maintenance cost, right? So we check the lift station on a regular basis, but now we are sending our crew to check manually and more frequently. But however, with those new system, we estimated some reduction on our the step ratio, the step hours. And the SRAE report, the staff estimated about 572 hours per year reduction because of the system.
I think, Lou, do you have the budget there?
Yeah.
I have a budget, but in the budget, we don't keep it all separate just for that. We have it under contract services, so it's all lumped in with a lot of other
Okay.
contract work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately-
572 hours at a full rate is probably still going to be 60 or 70 bucks an hour, right?
Fully burdened, yeah.
Fully burdened rate.
And your call-outs are a minimum of 3 hours. so-
3 hours, so.
so Unfortunately, Councilmember Kendi, we don't have that specific cost that you're looking for right in front of us right now. I apologize. I think the efficiencies that, I think what we're really looking at here is trying to get two separate companies doing water, one does water, one does sewer, trying to get that consolidated into one company, running one brain for both our two major, obviously, our two major utilities, water and sewer, and trying to get those. And the flexibility or the importance here and the efficiency is now our supervisors have all this stuff readily available, and they're getting real-time alerts. They can do some troubleshooting from their house and not have to be called out and not have to call out our on-call workers. Tesco would provide 24/7, 365 warranty or maintenance on the facility, so they can remote in to see if there's any problems with the software, where right now, currently, the software might freeze up, and we can't get anybody out for 2 or 3 days to come and look at that. They'll be able to do it remotely from their remote site. So those are the benefits of having that.
Well, based on just some quick figures in my head, that's about $35,000 we're paying in man-hours alone to repair the sewer system, right? If it's 575, that 572 hours is strictly for the sewer system?
Yeah, 580 hours per
Or
year.
580 hours,
Yeah.
well, that's about 35. Fully burdened hours, it's just for man-hours, is probably $35,000 to $40,000 a year.
And I think one of the other things, again, is you don't want to have any overflows in your manholes.
No.
You don't want any of that coming up into your gutters. So this,
Yeah.
this is an early alert system that, obviously, it's a public health and safety issue. If that stuff's starting to come out, we have to notify the state, we have to do cleanup and a bunch of other things that go on there. So this is really a benefit to the public health and safety issue.
Any other questions or comments? For the, who makes the motion, please include in there for the amount not to exceed $150,000 on your motion.
So we're ready to,
I'm ready for a motion.
I move we adopt resolution number 2014, next in number, approving an agreement with Tesco Controls, Inc. to provide professional services for the water and sewer SCADA systems improvement project, and authorize the city manager to execute said agreement and associated documents not to exceed $150,000.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasim. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we've got item 10C, first reading and introduction of ordinance 2014, next in number, amending Title I, Administrative, Title IV, Building Regulations, Title VI, Subdivisions, Title VIII, Health and Sanitation, and Title XI, Public Ways and Property of the Newman Municipal Code. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As we move through the year, we always take the opportunities to look at our municipal code and make sure it's up to date. We did consolidated some issues here that we wanted to run before you and make some amendments to the municipal code. Sometimes those are fees that we've adopted already, but forgot to find it in the municipal code and change those fees. Sometimes the titles or the organization has evolved into, and new people doing new things. So most of them, again, are we've highlighted some of the big ones here. Application fees for house movers. We don't have a lot of house movers or houses being moved in town, but it does happen occasionally. Some of these have already been adopted for, with respect to building code and some of the other things appeal. So we've made some changes there. So we've outlined those for you. We've increased the appeal fee from $15 to $150. That was something that's already been done, but we wanted to make sure that gets codified as well. So there's just a number of them in there. Sometimes the city clerk was identified, like on a house mover's permit, but now it's maybe more appropriate for a planning director or his or her designee to do that specific job. Instead of a city clerk, again, it's a planning department that's doing some of these things. As you know, back in the late 1990s, the city didn't really have a planning department. We just had a contract planner. So relocation permits, sometimes, again, the city sees things, and mostly in the house movers, again, where we're changing the city clerk to the planning director. Some of these also require the directors of planning, public works, and city engineers to look at a few different things. There's also a few, and there was one in here earlier that, or a little bit later on, that there's just a typo in the administrative citation component that identifies Merced County, because that's where the ordinance originated. It forgot to get changed over to Stanislaus County, so we're making that appropriate change. So, but it's all there for your review. I can answer any questions that you may have on any of these changes that are being proposed at this time.
Questions or comments for the city manager? Seeing none, council direction.
I move that we approve the first reading of ordinance 2410, next to number, amending Title 1 Administrative, Title 4 Building Code Regulations, Title 6 Subdivisions, Title 8 Health and Sanitation, and Title 11 Public Ways and Property of the Newman City Code.
Correct, that to be ordinance number 2014 next in number. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Okay, go to item 11. Supervisor Jim DiMartini.
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members and staff. I have a few things for you tonight. As you know, the way out for the Biggest Loser weight contest is coming up on Thursday. The way out will be at Walnut Grove School at between 4:30 and 5. I have the Ag Commissioner coming out with, for an official weight on the scale. We can stay there longer than 5 if a team has trouble, getting there before 5 o'clock. But our official times are 4:30 to 5, but we'll make any accommodations necessary for the teams. Remember, it's important that all the members of the team show up. There is a 15-pound penalty for a member who doesn't, or is not able to make it. As far as I know, everybody's going to make it. We've been sending out some emails this last week reminding the team captains of the way out at Walnut Grove School. So hope to see you there. I know that Newman finished second last year. We'll see, maybe he'll be first this year. Okay, also of importance is the meeting about the Crow's Landing Air Base development. The county this time is the lead agency, and we will be doing 2 scoping meetings in preparation for the environmental impact report. The first one will be at the Crow's Landing Firehouse on October 23rd at 6 o'clock. The second meeting, and you could either come to one or the other, they're both going to be the same. The second meeting will be October 30th at Patterson City Hall, also at 6 o'clock. Comments about the project will be accepted by the county until November 13th. In the scoping meeting, we're going to explain the project, and the environmental impact report will identify what the impacts of the project would be. And that could be many different things. Could be noise, agriculture, water, traffic, just a variety of things. And so we won't know what all those are till the EIR comes out. County is expecting this to be a long project, 25, 30 years before build out. With the gifts of the air base to the county, we have to keep the airport open, and we can't tear it out. So we plan on reusing the airport and actually reusing one of the runways as we were required to under the federal contract. Purpose for that was if the government felt in a national emergency they needed to use that runway, they could. And they don't want it taken out. Chances of that are kind of slim, but that was what the contract said. Any comments about the project, which I say will be up until November 13th, you have to get those in, should be sent to the Stanislaus County Planning Department. Rachel Weiss, W-Y-S-E, is the one who will be receiving those. If anybody has any comments or questions about these meetings, they can contact me or County CEO's office. Again, October 23rd and October 30th, 6 o'clock. And then just of not too much importance here, but still is a big project for us, Wesley Triangle project is still underway. It's probably about 2/3 done now. The whole road has been removed, and it's a different type of roadway coming in because of the truck traffic has just destroyed the intersection. So that's there in Wesley. And that project should be done by the end of November. That's all I have this evening.
Any questions or comments for the supervisor? Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, item 12, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just want to remind everybody that cleanup week is here upon us. Don't forget to take your water bill and your license or a form of ID with you. And that'll go through Saturday. As Jim mentioned, the Biggest Loser Way Out is this week, or next week. This week. I'm sorry, this week. We will put those, do a flyer and put the Do Not Knock registry. We'll do that in a mailer, probably maybe in November. If they haven't gone out yet, we'll get that out there. We'll put something on our website as well. There is a Measure Z educational flyer. It's on the counter at City Hall, but it's also on the website if anybody has any interest in learning about Measure Z and what that means to you and what Measure Z really means. There you can go to the city website, www.cityofnewman.org or .com, excuse me, and get that flyer there. And then lastly, soccer is still ongoing, so you can get on out there and watch some youth soccer and get a hamburger for $2. So with that, Mayor, I can take any questions that the council may
Questions, comments
have.
for the city manager?
Yeah, I just, Michael, has the permits for building homes and stuff increased? It looks like there's a lot of activity in town. I don't know if it's just things that were already planned, or is there new construction going on? Or
We've already issued more than we projected for this calendar year, so,
Okay.
I mean, this fiscal year, so yeah. There's been a recent uptick in the new housing starts, and two of the developments that were left over from the recession that occurred.
Right.
So you're seeing new houses getting started out there, that's correct.
And has there been any change in the business on the north end of town that, I guess, waiting for permits or whatever is going on down there at the nursery that,
The Stir Road one,
yeah?
out by Stir Road?
Yes.
That's in the county area. So they're processing a conditional use permit for that operator at this point in time.
So the county's holding it up?
That's a completely county issue. We've offered to take over the processing for them, but they believed it was more appropriate for them to do the processing of it because it's in their jurisdiction.
It just seems like it's unfair that that person has waited this long to find out if he can operate that business.
Yeah, I don't know the exact details of it, of who's not getting who information or what, but it's been ongoing for a number of months. We just recently got an early referral, meaning that plans were submitted to the county and they submitted them to us. We provided our comments back to the county in terms of how we wanted to look and comply with, because that's in the area that are in our future annexation, the northwest quadrant. So we had some comments with respect to the layout of the storage basin, the stormwater basin, and a few other things. So, but again, that's something that's being processed in the county under county jurisdiction, not city.
Yeah. It just seems like it's taken so long. I mean, it's just unreasonable. I don't know. Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions or comments? Michael, just in regards to the cleanup week, was Berlotti notified of that particular address I
Yes.
talked to you about?
Yes.
Okay,
Monday morning, first thing, 8
Okay.
o'clock.
great. Because I'd hate for those people to come all the way from Reno and be turned away.
It should not be an issue.
Great, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Okay, items from staff. Chief?
Just give you a brief update on our dispatch project. We met with DOJ, Department of Justice, last week on Thursday to go over our application to switch from our information coming from the county through Oakdale. So we now know exactly what they want to see on that application. So it should be a smoother transition for them instead of getting hung up at the state level. It was attended by myself, IT, our records people, and the city of Oakdale. So it was a good meeting. The hardware and software is being ordered now, should start coming in soon. Training starts with RIMS on October 29th. So administration from the police department and records clerks will be attending. So it's in Oakdale. That day we will not be doing any live scans. We will have somebody in the office to answer questions and take reports, but we will not be doing any live scans that day. And then I will be happy to answer any questions.
Just one question in regards to cameras on officers. I know there's been a lot of talk because all the concerns that people have. I know I talked to Michael, and are we going down that road? Are we looking to see if officers will have cameras on them? Because I think it does a lot of things, a lot of good things. I think it protects the officers. I think it protects our citizens. I just think it's just something that, so often when things occur, there's not an answer. I mean, it's like, and I think that would eliminate a lot of these concerns.
We've tested a couple of products from different vendors. The problem we have is they're very expensive to outfit each officer, and the software that goes along with it to maintain the storage of that much video footage is rather expensive. We did test it, but I think it's coming down to a price. If the council is willing to give us the money to complete the project, we'd be more than happy to put cameras on officers.
Well, I think that they might, because, it's like, it could save us a lot of problems in the future. I mean, there could be a lawsuit or something like that, and this would resolve that quite easily. I don't know, I think it's just a good direction. Anyway.
What I can do is prepare a staff report with different vendors and pricing and bring it to you for your guys' consideration if you'd like.
Chief, do officers still carry tape recorders?
They do.
They still activate them?
Some of them do religiously, some of them not so much.
And the only reason why I ask that is, Bob, back in the day, every officer was issued a tape recorder, and it was told to them that's your best defense. So, and as Chief can attest, if an officer is confronted with an angry motorist, person on the street, whatever, I used to instruct the guys, first thing you do is reach down and click on your tape recorder. That way when they come in to beef you, say what kind of an idiot you were, on and on and on, and all you hear on the tape is the officer saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's pretty hard for that person to file a citizen's complaint when you have a tape recording of the officer being as polite as they can possibly be. Having said that, I used to tell them it was awfully difficult for me to defend you if you didn't have that tape running while you're being confronted by an angry citizen. It was your best defense, and a couple of guys got pretty good at hitting that tape recorder, and it saved in the long run of someone filing a false complaint. So in the interim time, I would hope that the guys would continue to do that, guys and gals, I should say, because it is their best form of defense until if we get to the point where we want to outfit our patrol cars, our officers with film and data recorders and all that kind of stuff.
I just think the technology's there, and we're fools for not looking at it. I just think that, I think that, I know there's a move afoot among police officers, different, towns to equip their officers with cameras. It's just, I think it's pretty foolproof. I think that
It's not completely foolproof, is the thing, is they still have to activate them.
Right.
well, no, but I mean, shouldn't they be activated when they go on duty, and then they shouldn't be able to deactivate?
It doesn't run full time.
It doesn't.
It's activated at the time of the incident. And the same goes with the tape recorder. When the incident is going down, the officer has to activate, whether it be the tape recorder and/or whether it be a video recorder. It still has to be manually activated.
The amount of storage that would be required to maintain a running tape for a 11-hour shift would be in the terabyte range and would be extremely expensive. Now, having them activated when they're on an incident, that's another thing. But to have it running, even the ones in car, they're only activated if you turn on your lights and siren or in certain other ways, because there's just no way to keep the storage. So that's the difficult part of that. But like Ed said, if they'll just click their tape recorders, or if they had cameras, just click them on the incident, it doesn't take a half a second to reach down and turn those things on. But cameras are a good idea.
I think it should be constantly running. What I'm saying is, that doesn't protect people out there if it's not running constantly.
Well, the problem is, Bob, is there's no way, especially if you have 2 or 3 officers on at the same time, you know, they start their shift at 6 in the morning and they don't get off till 5 at night, to run that tape recorder and that video recorder for 11 straight hours, we wouldn't have a computer big enough and all the technology stuff to store all that information. I mean, you're talking enormous amount of storage. And I don't know that it's even possible.
I don't know, I know that a lot of systems, I won't carry this on, but we have cameras at work, and I know the cameras run all the time. All the time. So what I'm saying is, the information is always there.
Well, the camera runs, but is it being saved as well?
Yes, it's saved. What I'm saying is,
we're not Bronco Winery.
How long is it saved? 24 hours?
it's constantly running.
How long is it saved?
Saved?
Saved.
Well, I think it's only saved for a short period of time.
24 hours?
I don't know, Roberta. I don't know how long it's saved. But
Chief,
I don't know, because I have had to go back and look at the camera, just check things.
And my security system only backs it up for 14 days.
And then it's like, well,
You know, my question is on the legal side. I know at one time there was issues just in terms of, you know, legally how long you had to, if it was evidentiary being held, and which also creates an issue.
I believe it's 1 year that you have to hold it, so that, therefore, all that data has to be stored in case somebody comes in within a year to make a complaint. So that's why the technology's not there to store that amount of data. I mean, I'm sure there's companies out there that would store the data for us, but it's gonna cost more than it would be worth.
cloud.
Send it to the cloud.
And that's exactly what it does. It does send it to a cloud, but it's expensive to get it to that cloud.
It's an expensive cloud.
It is.
Anyway, thank you very much.
And I think it's a good thought, Bob, but again, you know, I found that $50 tape recorder sure went a long ways. Went a long, long way in defense of officers, at any rate. But, you know, if you'd like Chief to do a staff report and get some numbers, some information.
I don't know, I think that we just should keep up with it, and as you're doing already, and just hope that things someday make it possible to do what I think we should be doing.
I agree.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. Stephanie?
Nothing tonight.
Lou?
Nothing tonight.
How was your golf game?
Yes, just an update.
Yeah.
It's good.
How'd you guys do?
4 over. Not as well as you did.
Kassoon?
Yeah, just an update on the Sherman ditch cleaning and improvement program. So we sent 75 letters to the resident who are living along the Sherman ditch because some trees should be gone, should be removed. So far, about 10 residents want to keep the trees. So city staff set up some meeting with those residents on site last week and this week and explain why we need to remove those trees because they keep clogging our system. So far, all residents are very cooperative, so we are moving forward the next step. So I will keep you updated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Okay. Items from council members. Nick?
Yes, tonight.
Bob?
Congratulations to San Francisco for beating St. Louis, and that's all I'll say.
Don?
Condolences to the Seahawks for losing to the Cowboys. I don't have anything.
Roberta?
I don't have anything.
Thanks, Tom.
I just have a couple things. I won't go there. This week is homecoming at the high school, so I was asked to judge the homecoming parade this weekend, but Bob, you're going to do that for me, right?
Yeah, I took the day off. So.
Great. So I have to be in Stockton by 3, so.
1:30 at,
in front of the West Side Theater.
I'll be there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And the other thing is, I was contacted by the Patterson Seroptimus to be their moderator in Master Ceremonies for their Candidates Night last week, which was very interesting. It was fun. They did their quorum with their mayor candidates first, and took a break, then came out with the council candidates. There were some interesting questions that were proposed, and I vetted out some of them. But I thought the candidates did real well. The audience was very respectful and asked some very good questions, and it wasn't out of hand. Went for a couple hours, and so it was fun, and I thank the Sroptimus Patterson for giving me the opportunity. It was nice to be on the other side of the table. So it was a good evening. So with that, see, I have nothing else. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.